So this is yes. So yesterday we have said like working with these things, right? So after this we are talking about so there is a lambda functions or anonymous functions. So what is a lambda function is? So a function, so lambda functions are anonymous functions generally. Lambda is itself called lambda functions are anonymous functions. Anonymous functions which doesn't have any name. Which doesn't have any name. See here lambda functions are anonymous functions and this functions doesn't have any name. There is no name for this particular functions. Okay, there is no name for this particular functions, right? So that is what you mean by anonymous functions. Anonymous functions means the functions which doesn't have any name. So that functions are called anonymous functions. So just try to understand this. What is the meaning of anonymous here? So lambda functions are anonymous functions which doesn't have any name. And not only that, lambda functions are higher order functions. Lambda functions are called which functions? Higher order functions. And lambda functions doesn't have any name. So these functions are called which functions here? Anonymous functions. Anonymous functions means the functions which doesn't have any name. So that functions you call it as which functions here? Anonymous functions, which doesn't have any name. Lambda functions are higher order functions. Lambda functions are called which functions here? Higher order functions. So what do you mean by this? Higher order functions here. So they may ask like what is a higher order function in Python? So most of the scripting languages support this. Higher order function in JavaScript, higher order component in React, higher order function in what? Kotlin, Scala, Swift. So all these are which one? Scripting languages. And all scripting languages supported this. Higher order functions. Here are higher order function in Kotlin, higher order function in what? Python, higher order function in what? Swift, like that. So what is higher order function in Python? So here, a function is called higher order function if it contains other functions as parameter and return a function as what here? Output. So here, a function is called higher order function if it contain other function as a parameter or argument and return function as an output. So the function that operate with another function are known as which functions here? Higher order functions. Like here we have seen closures out there. Closure is what? Higher order function. Closure is a higher order function. And even we have seen decorators. Decorator is also called which function? Higher order function. And even lambda is also called which functions? Higher order functions. Okay. So a function, even lambda is also called higher order function, which takes the input as one function and return output as another function. That functions are called higher order function. A function is called higher order function. So it is like this. A function is called higher order function. A function is called higher order function if it contains other functions as parameter, or return a function as output, parameter or argument, anything, and or return a function as an output. It is a function that operate with other function are known as which functions here? Higher order functions. So it means you can define lambda. So we can define a lambda. So lambda function can be defined. Lambda function can be defined as a function argument. You can define this as a function argument, right? Lambda function, you can define the lambda function as what? Function argument. Lambda function can be defined. See, lambda function can be defined as what here? Function argument. Lambda function can be defined as what here? Function argument. Function argument. So just try to understand this. Can be defined as a function argument. A function is called higher order function. See, so it is an anonymous function, and lambda function is also called a lambda expression. This lambda function is also called a lambda expression. So lambda function is also called which one? Lambda. This lambda function is also called a lambda expression. Lambda function is also called a lambda expression. So lambda function doesn't have any name. Now lambda function contains only one statement. Lambda function is having how many statements? Only one statement. And lambda functions are inline functions. Lambda functions are inline functions. Inline functions means these functions are defined inside a function. Inline functions means this will not take separate memory space. It is taking the memory space as a part of another function. So lambda functions are which functions here? Inline functions. So what is the meaning of this is when you use lambda functions is lambda functions are lambda expressions. So generally, for example, there is one function. Assume that there is one function called assume that there is a one function called function 1. Assume that there is a function called which one? Function 1. Assume that there is one function called which one? Function 1. So what is the name of the function here? Function 1. What is the name of the function here? Function 1. You are writing a function 1 with the argument. Okay. So this function is with one argument, required argument. This is function with which argument here? Required argument. This is a function with the required argument. So I want to call this function 1. I want to call this function 1 by sending one function as input. Okay, I want to send one function as what here input. So can I write a function as an argument here? No, I cannot write a function as what argument. I want to send the function 2. I want to send the function 2. Can I call the function 1 by sending function 2 by defining it as an argument? No, I cannot write like this. Can I write a function as an argument? Can I define the function as an argument? No, I cannot define the function as what here argument. I cannot define the function as what here or I cannot write a function. I cannot write a function as a function argument. I cannot write a function as a function argument. No, I cannot write a function as a function argument. I cannot do this. But I want to write a function here. I want to write a function as an argument. I want to write a function here only. I want to write a function here only. And I want to send that function to what? Function 1. I want to write a function here only and I want to send that function as an argument to this function 1. I want to write a function here only and I want to send that function as an argument to this function 1. Then you take the help of which functions now? Anonymous functions. So that is called as which functions here? Lambda functions. So generally lambda functions are used only once. The functions which are not used frequently, that functions you declare it as what? Lambda. The functions, the functions not used frequently, so not used frequently are declared as which one? Lambda functions. Declared as which functions here? Lambda functions. The functions not used frequently are declared as which functions here? Lambda functions. Not used frequently, declared as which functions? Lambda functions. Just try to understand, this is very important concept. So what is the purpose of higher order functions? HOF. Okay, HOF. Now sometimes a function not only receive the input as a data, a function not only receive the input as what? Data, a function also receive the input as what? Another function. Getting on it. A function not only receive the input as data, but a function also receive the input as what? Another function. Okay, it means the advantage of that is the function performs certain operation, but what operation it has to be defined, that you define during runtime. Means implementation of that function becomes what? Dynamic. So in that case, you can go for which functions here? Higher order functions. Higher order functions is abbreviated as what? HOF. Higher order function provides similar building blocks to express complex concepts by combining simpler functions into new functions. That is what we have seen in decorators. What we did in decorators. Decorator is a function which receive one function and return new function. So you are extending the functionality of existing function. Okay, you are extending or you are adding some new features to the existing function. So that is one use of which one? Higher order function. Closures. Closure is a function which takes the input as a data and return another function. Decorator is called as a higher order function. Okay, decorator is called as what? Higher order function because it received the function as an input and return another function as what here? Output. So lambdas, now applications if you see, right? Applications of lambda functions. Applications of lambda functions in Python, right? Applications of lambda functions in what? Python. So we use lambda functions when we require a nameless function or a short period of time. For a short period of time in Python, we generally use it as an argument to higher order functions here. This is what I explained. This is what I explained. What I explained here. Okay. So where it is used. This is very much useful if you are working with data science and machine learning. And not only that, if you are working with like backends like Django and if you are working with Django or Flask, you'll try to use this lambda functions. We use lambda functions when we require a nameless function for a short period of time. Short period of time is nothing but, I said, the functions not used frequently. The functions which are not used frequently, that functions are declared as what? Lambda functions. So we use lambda functions when we require a nameless function for a short period of time. Nameless function for a short period of time. In Python, we generally use it as an argument to higher order function. A function that takes in other function as arguments. So lambda functions are used along with built-in functions like there are some functions in Python like filter, and one more is what? Map. So these functions uses input as what? Another function. Suppose filter is there. Filter is a function which filters the data. What is the job of filter function is? The job of filter function is filtering data. But what data should be filtered? What data should be filtered that filter doesn't know? So I have to tell the filter function, okay, use this function and filter it. Filter function is there, but what to filter doesn't know. Okay, so to the filter, I should tell the filter use this function and filter it. So it means inside the filter function, there is some logic, but that logic doesn't know how to filter it. We have to tell the filter function, okay, use this function and filter it. It means I need to send one function. Okay, filter, I should say, use this function and filter this data. For example, there is a list of strings are there. I want to filter uppercase strings. Then filter, I send this list to filter. But filter doesn't know what to filter. I should tell the filter, okay, use this function and filter it. Use which function? Uppercase function and filter. Is it the strings are uppercase? Written that. So it means I'm giving input as one function toward another function. That you call it as higher order functions. That is called as higher order functions. Okay, now you can send this function as an argument to another function. You can send this function as an argument to what? Another function. You can send this function as an argument to what? Another function. So what is the syntax of writing? This is lambda functions are anonymous, right? So how you are writing these functions? Anonymous means generally you write a function using which keyword? Def, right? How you write a function? By using def and function name. Def function name. But here, how you write a lambda function? By using the keyword called which one? Lambda. How you are writing a lambda function? By using the keyword called lambda. Lambda is a keyword. What is it? This function is having any name? No, this function doesn't have any name. You are just writing with the keyword lambda. Lambda, it followed by what? Any name? No. Because lambda functions are nameless. Lambda functions are what? Nameless, means this doesn't have any name. Okay. So lambda, it followed by what now? Arguments. Okay, if it is having any arguments you define. So argument 1, argument 2, argument 3, like this. You can write a lambda with arguments. And how many statements I can write here? Only one statement. I can write how many statements here? Only one statement. I cannot write multiple statements. How many statements I can write here? Only one statement. but I cannot write multiple statements. No multiple statements, only one statement you can write. Okay, but function is having multiple statements, but lambda function is having how many statements? Only one statement. See how you write it. This is where you find the difference between a normal function. So this is difference between normal function, a normal function, and what is this function here? Lambda function. This is where you find the difference between a normal function and this is where you find the difference between a normal function and lambda function. How you are writing a normal function? You are writing a normal function using which keyword? Def. Def, it followed by what name? Function name. So if the function is having name, I can call it. Okay, if the function is having a name, I can call it. Right now, you can write this function with the arguments or not. Yes. Okay, then you include some statements here. Statement 1. Okay, statement 2. How many statements you can include here? More than one statement. Okay, it is a block. It is a block contain more than one statement. But how you are writing a lambda function? You are writing a lambda, but any name is there. Function, you are writing a function with a name, but lambda function is with any name? No. No name. This lambda doesn't have any name. No name, but function is having what here? Name. But lambda function is not having any name. But is this function receive any values? Yes. Then you have to write. You have to write with what here? Arguments. But how many statements I can write inside lambda? How many statements I can write inside lambda? Only one statement. How many statements I can write in lambda? Only one statement. But here in function, I can write more than one statement. But in lambda, I can write only, okay, in function, you can write more than one statement. But in lambda, I can write only one statement. So this is what you find the difference between a normal function and what here? Lambda function. Syntax. Syntax difference. This is syntax difference. Okay, so this is what here? Syntax difference between a normal function and what is that? Lambda function. This is a syntax difference between normal function and lambda. Syntax difference between normal function and what? Lambda function. Okay, syntax difference here. Okay, this is a syntax difference between normal function and lambda function. Normal function and one more is a lambda function. This is a syntax difference. Okay, yes, just try to understand this. What is exactly the meaning of lambda functions are anonymous functions, right? What is the difference between the normal function and anonymous functions here, right? Okay, but here today I'll stop here only. Okay, today I'll just stop here. Tomorrow we'll continue this. Okay, working with this lambda functions, right? Right. Today I'll stop here only. Tomorrow I'll continue this. Thank you. Yeah, you give in chat window. Yeah, type in chat window. You are interacting, right? What doubts you have, you put in chat window. After class, my mail ID is there. No? My mail ID is there. So this is my mail ID. You can send it. This is my mail ID. Okay. Okay, we'll see tomorrow. Yeah, please. We'll see tomorrow. Right. Thank you.